So Roger Stone, he said that if Trump got impeached, then there's going to be lots of violence on the streets. So he's a provocateur. He's such a fucking low-life piece of shit. I'm glad that Gene Ugar actually yelled at Roger Stone because he is such a fucking chump. He is such a fucking piece of shit. And, yeah, so that's what we're faced with. If he gets impeached, then there's going to be violence on the streets. So it's okay if he breaks the law. It's okay if he's a warmonger. We should impeach him for war crimes. He's still aggressive. We're in 50 different wars. They made a fucking joke. How many shooting wars are you engaged in right now? Dude just laughs. So here's our great unifying president, your fucking president, and what your president here is saying is Kaepernick. That's the problem, you know. He's the problem. He's the reason for all your all's problems. I'm just going to mention one thing before I start playing the video. That Muslims, you know, these same assholes, these Confederates, neo-Nazis, KKK, white supremacist fucking pricks, we're witnessing the rise of fascism right now, okay? So if you were in Nazi Hitler Germany and you're fucking defending your Mein Führer, even the communists, even the far-left communists had conceded to Hitler's fucking Nazism bullshit. So they cowered. They got scared. That's where Antifa, that's why Antifa is such a powerful organization. I want to talk more about Antifa. Just my understanding of what Antifa is. It's a decentralized organization, decentralized just like Occupy was, just like Anonymous is. So there is no head, there is no leader, there's no central leadership. What you're attacking are any people that like Heather Heyer are just inspired to stand up against the racist bullshit. So these Confederate fucking pricks, Antifa is just keeping an eye on these Confederate pricks. They want to go around saying they hate wetbacks, they hate niggers, they hate Jews, they hate all these fucking people. If that's what they want to say, if that's who they are, and they're racist, bigoted fucking dicks, profile them. They'll be the same person to say profile Muslims. Well, okay, if you know, if they look dangerous, yeah, maybe we need to profile them, but we also need to profile these Confederate fucking pricks who's stating that they hate every, every goddamn person that doesn't look like them. So, is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing that, here's a hate group over here that's saying that they hate all these different groups? If Muslims are doing that, there's, Muslim hate groups, pay attention to them, but also pay attention to these white hate groups too. I think it's a good idea. That's a smart police force that's paying attention to all the right-wing, fascist bullshit, the buildup of, these identity politic fucking losers, these fucking cowards. So here he's talking about Kaepernick, so that's what the problem is. He goes down to Huntsville, Alabama, and gives this fucking speech. I got a 3-minute clip here, but I'm gonna, let's let it run for a second.
He's gonna say, that guy that disrespects our flag, he's fired. And that owner, they don't know it. They don't know it. They're friends of mine, many of them.
The owners of the NFL teams, that one fucking old ass man that had a weird racism, right? He just didn't want it on Instagram. He just didn't want her taking pictures with black folks on Instagram. So whatever that old man was, they fired him immediately. But there's clearly racism that's going on. What is Kaepernick doing? They want to sit there and say, don't be violent. Don't, if you're going to protest, don't be like Antifa. Antifa's, they're just as big of violent thugs. What Antifa does is meet the violence. So you hear about a neo-Nazi meeting, you go there and you're on the opposite side of the sidewalk and you're just keeping an eye on these fucking pricks. They're going around marching with the tiki torches and, saying all this fucking anti-Semitic shit. What if they surround a homeless person? What if they surround a black person? What if they find themselves a Jew and they start attacking that person? Somebody needs to defend them. The cops in Charlottesville were too afraid. It was only Antifa. Antifa saved Cornel West's life. Antifa saved Cornel West's life. These fascists started surrounding Cornel West, and it was the Antifa folks who are there to defend folks. Antifa don't look to go provoking people. They don't look to go into different cities saying, look, we want to attack all Nazis. They are the provocateurs, the Nazis are. So to have a group there that's peacefully checking them, making sure they're not being violent, that's a good thing. Now it's decentralized. Is it possible that some asshole just says Antifa means you find Nazis and you punch them in their face? Maybe. That could be possible, but you could have Heather Heyer Antifa too, who's peaceful and just, holding a sign and just showing the world that visual. Yeah, there's Nazis marching in town, but you got, a good size counter demonstrators there too. So there's Nazi supporters, but there's also a lot of anti-racists that are here too. Donald Trump is saying, fucking fire Kaepernick for kneeling down, right? So this goes to the Black Lives Matter. This goes to freedom of speech. This goes to the heart of people allowed to be peaceful protesters. So, if I would love to believe these right-wing conservatives really care that, they really think that Antifa is this large, terrorist organization that's all about violence. But it's not about violence. It's about dissent. It's about quashing dissent. It's about making sure that Kaepernick is, he's forced into compliance and silence. Shut the fuck up, Kaepernick. You got a good job. You shut the fuck up and tell everybody how great everything is. You don't peacefully, quietly take a knee during the fucking anthem. How dare you, you son of a bitch? This is our president, calling them sons of bitches. So Kaepernick's mom's a bitch now? That's how low our fucking, government is. He wants to say both sides is to blame in Charlottesville, and yet he's sitting there saying this nonviolent protest, this quiet, silent protest, before he sat down, now he took a knee. He took a knee because just sitting down could be disrespectful, but he's taken a knee. So it's a respectful, it's a different way to honor the pledge. Here's a man here, Antone Jennings. He says sports is entertainment. Why the fuck is the anthem even played at the entertainment venue? Even in government meetings, I feel like the anthem and the prayer is just like perfunctory ways to begin an official ceremony. So it's just, you got to say something and do something, and we're all here and we all care, blah, blah, blah. We're all good people. All right, now let's get the business done. So you could have any kind of statement. You could have, read the fucking Constitution. We the people of the United States. That'd be a better invocation than talking about something that's not even there. So while he's shitting on protest, while he's shitting on freedom of speech, he's going to sit there and say that it goes against everything that America is. No, America is about freedom of speech. So you would protect popular speech. Unpopular speech would be protected. So there's a joke about Nazis have the right to free speech, but they don't have a right to their faces or something. They got a right to their own opinion, but not to their faces. Something, essentially, I find them loathsome and I find them horrible fucking cretins. But if they are peaceful, then they're allowed to protest. Yeah, they have free fucking speech. So Antifa isn't about finding Nazis and attacking them and hurting them and trying to, genocide them, even if that would be their secret wishes. The point of Antifa is to go there to confront them if they get out of hand, if they get violent, to protect the Cornel West of the world, to be the Heather Heyers of the world, to just be there to show, the optics, the visual. Yeah, if you just have, a big old fucking thing of Nazis and there's nobody counter-protesting, well, that seems like the Nazis have taken over the whole fucking town. It looks like the whole goddamn town is in favor of this march. Nobody's protesting. Nobody's saying shit. They got a right to free speech. There was one thing, Bill Maher was, flipping out about free speech. He was saying, he mentioned shouting somebody down. I think you could shout somebody down. You're talking, and why should I have to listen to you? You're not, are we taking turns here, or you're just taking the microphone and you're going to speak the whole goddamn time? So you have a right to speak. I got a right to speak too. And shouting people down, I don't know. I mean, isn't that free speech too? And I'm not allowed to talk. You're talking, but I can talk over you, and now nobody knows what the fuck is going on because you got two, people just, going on and on about their own issues. So that's what Fox News has always been good about, disrupting the fucking issues to where you're like, hell, they're both wrong. Both sides are wrong. And that's the point, to put doubt into your brains. So Antifa, we should nip fascism right in the bud. We should pay attention to the white supremacists and the KKK. And therefore self-defense. Self-defense is intelligence. So the Antifa, so I'll say that, if the Antifa members that are pro-violence, that just go attack Nazis who just are carrying, a sign or an armband, well, don't do that. It's criminal. I don't hate it that much, but it is criminal. And so for a civilized society, you shouldn't go take people's Confederate flags down. You shouldn't, burn their Confederate flags or what have you. That's private property. You're, getting on private property, stealing private property, destroying private property. So You know, but do I like the people waving the fucking flag? No. Do I like the person taking that flag down and burning it? Yeah. So I think that person's a fucking, is a hero. I think that person took a risk, and fuck the Nazis, like fuck the Nazis. So I don't have much sympathy for them. There was that one guy who he seemed like, they said that he was saying a bunch of slurs to a bunch of people, and then like a bigger dude confronts him and then jacks him in Seattle, right? They knocked that Nazi out, and then he was just down on the ground. I somewhat feel sorry for him, but the other part, I see the swastika on his fucking armband, and I don't feel sorry for him. He's in favor of, violence, fascism, against Jews, against blacks, against, communist, socialist, against trade unionists, against handicapped people, right? And he's just against Polish people, probably. I don't know. His fucking racism probably just goes on and on and on. You're a fucking Nazi, so you're anti-America. It's like a person waving the Confederate flag. We fought against the Nazis. That's one of the best goddamn things America did, was stopping fucking fascist Germany. That was a good fucking thing. We stopped Confederacy. That's a good fucking thing. That's a good thing about America. And so you're the enemy of America. You want to be a Nazi? You want to be a Confederate? Well, you want to be an enemy of America. It's hard for me to feel bad if someone punches you. If there was a civil war, we wouldn't be punching them. We would be shooting them. So they're pushing for civil war. They're pushing for this, pure white race agenda. They're bad, shitty fucking people. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't lose any sleep over it. In a civilized society, if I'm the sheriff, I probably would have to arrest, the people. If I witnessed it or saw it, I would probably have to arrest those who would assault, peaceful demonstrators. But if they're not peaceful, then all bets are off. And in fact, I would want Antifa there, and just in case they weren't peaceful, right? Who the fuck stood up to the Nazis in Charlottesville? Not the police. Even the fucking Nazis were saying they were letting everybody do everything. So the police should stand up to the Nazis. The police should stand up to, that's what they're supposed to fucking do. But if they identify with the Nazis, if they're scared of the Nazis because they got all those assault rifles, well, I guess we're not going to see any... We're not going to see any, fucking progress, right?
They don't know. They'll be the most popular person for a week. They'll be the most popular person in this country. So you're saying that that's a total disrespect
NFL
of our heritage.
Business owners fire Kaepernick. They'll be popular and they'll hate him, but he's like, you know what? It's okay. So he goes to Alabama, so the heart of the racist fucking Confederate fucking South. He went to Huntsville. Why not just go to Birmingham? Why not go to Montgomery? Right? Hell, why not go to Memphis next? Right where MLK got fucking assassinated. Why don't you just give your speech right on the balcony of that motel where MLK got assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee? This fucking racist. There's a reason he picked Alabama, because he's going to say this racist shit and he wants everybody to fucking cheer for him. He knows the shit that he's fanning. He's running for 2020, so he's not going to stop his fucking agenda. He's not going to stop and just be the fucking president. He's not going to unify the country. He refuses to unify. He's doubling down and he's going, full steam forward. Full steam forward with his racist fucking anti-immigrant. I hate listening to this fucker, man.
That's a total disrespect of everything that we stand for, okay? Everything that we stand for.
It's not totally disrespect to everything that we stand for.
Have freedom.
I want to live in a country that protects unpopular speech. So as much as I hate the fucking Nazis, they have a right to go fucking speak. They got a right to fucking speak and spew out their fucking ideas. But when they're intimidating, when they're harassing people, when they assault people, when they actually, murder, rape, or any of the bigger ones, steal, if they criminalize anybody, that's the point when, you gotta fucking intervene and knock them on their fucking ass. But being the good guys, you don't instigate the fight, you don't start the fight. Yeah, you want to fucking say you're a fucking, piece of shit, racist, and say a bunch of racist slurs and shit, pissing everybody off. I don't know. I guess it's like we have a right to stay away from that. The way I feel like that should be solved is that person stays right in that single spot on that sidewalk. If they're walking on your side, just fucking talking in your ear, I think you might have a right to fucking hit them. They're getting in your fucking brain, right? They're downloading shit right into your fucking brain, and they're personally directing it towards you. But if you're a person on the sidewalk just kind of saying this and saying that and passing out literature and you're not going around harassing people, yeah, I guess you probably could be a hateful fucking bigoted piece of shit. and you're going to piss people off, and they might want to, attack you or hit you, but ultimately, free speech zone. So, I would love to have a free speech zone, have a police officer there that not only protects the racist, but protects the anti-racist that say, look, you fucking racist piece of shit, you racist low-life son of a bitch, go fuck yourself, fuck you, fuck everything you believe, he could shout him down, he could shit on him back. You want to shit on the world? All right, well, don't be surprised when you get shit on back. So that's both our free speech. So to shout somebody down, to shout a fucking racist down, to shout a Nazi down, it'd be hard for me to stay inside a fucking arena with Trump going on and on without, I couldn't stay in it. I couldn't fucking listen to that fucking cocksucker. This is like what's that one, Jim Jones, right? The Jonestown, where they had a massive revolutionary suicide. They all drunk the Kool-Aid. They all drunk the Flavor Aid. And they killed themselves because they wanted to have a communist commune down in Brazil, South America somewhere. But Jim Jones, he tested the speaker system, so he had a very good propaganda system where he had the speakers all basically lined up, and then he got them drilling. And so that's a Hitler thing. Hitler said that propaganda, public speaking, is the best way to speak because you can gauge how the people are going to react. So that's his audience, right? Trump goes to fucking Alabama. He went to Texas to talk about guns. He goes to Alabama to talk about his fucking racism. And there's actually, where all the black people live? They live in the South. 90% of American blacks live in the deep, dirty, antebellum fucking South, okay? So Alabama, Mississippi, Florida. There's like 2% black people in Pueblo. 2%. 2%. There's half the town is Hispanic, half the town is white, and 2% black folks. So where'd all the black people go? Were they never here? Were the Hispanics and the whites, they unified against the blacks? What the fuck happened? So, that makes me wonder what's going on, but that maybe perhaps the reason why blacks still live in the South is because segregation was protection, and then they stuck around with their families. So once white and black segregated, there was actually a kind of peace, right? Blacks stayed to themselves, whites stayed to themselves, and that was sort of how the system was. And so if you could achieve some kind of degree of security, and then get a job with the black community, and you start doing well for yourself, then I think that. That's why black people stayed in the South. Black people stayed in the South because of family, because of tradition, because of ties to their neighborhoods. So they haven't, got out of the fucking South. There was a great migration, but it's, 90% of black folks still live around the hardest core white supremacists in the country. So.
Freedoms, and we have freedom of choice and many, many different freedoms. But you know what? It's still totally disrespectful. And when the NFL ratings are down massively, the NFL ratings are down massively. Now, the number one reason happens to be that they like watching what's happening on.
Everybody's watching Trump, and that's the reason nobody's watching the NFL. But, Kaepernick, he says it's about our heritage. It goes against everything that we believe. No, Trump, you're going against everything that I believe. So, and anybody else, any other Americans that believe like me that we got to protect unpopular speech. Freedom of speech, if you don't protect unpopular speech, then you don't believe in freedom of speech. So I believe that Nazis and fucking KKK, they could say they're fucking bullshit, but it's not the violence. It's not if their language is intimidating. And some people actually make that argument that the Confederate flag is a threat in of itself, that the swastika is a threat in of itself. And if that's how it's interpreted, right, I can't argue with how people interpret the fucking thing. So swastika, that's Nazism. I could see how a Jew would feel nervous, a Confederate fucking flag. They talk about that heritage bullshit, but they don't even know their actual heritage. They don't know their bloodlines. They're probably Germans who never even fought in the goddamn Civil War. And so it goes against everything we believe. No, you go against everything we believe. I believe in free speech, you fucking fascist prick.
They like what's happening. Because, today if you hit too hard, right? They hit too hard. 15 yards, throw him out of the game. They had that last week. I watched for a couple of minutes. And two guys just really beautiful tackle. Boom, 15 yards. The referee gets on television. His wife is sitting at home. She's so proud of him. They're ruining the game.
So referees are ruining the game. Referees are some of the most honorable fucking people on the planet. They're not in the game. They're not a fan cheering. They're in the game, and they're there to make sure the game is played fair. Of course a fascist would be against a person who is there to make sure people are there to act fair. So him shitting on the fucking referees, he's sitting there saying fire all the protesters, fire all the people that believe in free speech, and now he's just sitting there saying fuck the referees, fire the referees. He's saying a beautiful tackle. So he was like, oh, I saw two men just, God, the violence just turned me on so fucking much. And you know what? Damn referee said there was a personal foul. I'm like, men hurting each other and fighting for my pleasure is what I love. And here this damn referee is telling me that the thing I love is horrible and it's a foul. And then they got 15-yard line. So that cunt fuck motherfucker. He's going to eventually talk about free speech, but he defends religious liberty. So denying service to the gays is okay. Denying the transgendered military service is okay. But they better fucking stand up for that goddamn national anthem, right? All right, fuck the gays, fuck the transgendered people. But if you're at a football game, an entertainment venue, right, at a movie, you have to stand up for the national anthem at the movie or the concert. If they didn't kneel, the media wouldn't even fucking cover that shit. Nobody says the national anthem. Nobody says the pledge. Nobody wakes up and says this shit. They don't do this shit on their own. So, it's just a perfunctory thing before the game. It's a fucking ceremonial thing that they do. So, whatever. They do it at the beginning of government meetings, whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just something that they do in order to get the festivities kicked off. I would choose other sort of introductions, but that's your introduction, fine. But, being American doesn't mean there's so many fat fucking people, fat drunk people that don't fucking stand up for the damn thing. Are they protesting? No, they're protesting, skinniness. They're protesting health. They're like, I'm going to be a fat fuck, and I'm like, they can't stand up, so it's not even their fault. Fascism should be nipped in the bud. Fascism should be fucking nipped in the bud. He's going to shit on free speech, shit on, non-violent free speech, which, taking a knee, he's actually still being respectful. He's not just, sitting on his ass. It's not like he's burning the flag. He's not, giving the middle finger out to the fucking world. He's just not being a conformist fucking prick. He's just not going along with the fucking majority of the crowd. So that makes him a super individual, which in America, we're supposed to be individuals anyways. Individualism is supposed to be one of that's a capitalistic fucking trait. You conformists are a bunch of fucking communists. You motherfuckers all want to have the same exact consensus fucking viewpoint. Nobody disagrees on shit, right? The American flag must be worshipped, and if somebody experienced some police brutality, that's bullshit. If somebody experienced hatred because of they're gay in this country, if they've had some bullshit that happened and the officials or Americans had been the ones who perpetuated against it, they have a legal grievance, they have a, authentic, genuine grievance against this country, they have a right to fucking protest. Give me a fucking break. If we don't have the first freedom, we don't have any of these damn freedoms. So, maybe we can just, I don't know, tamper off or like Nazis, they have a right to fucking talk. So I do think it should be nipped in the bud. I do think we should see where the Nazis are and then, track them down when they have protests, make sure there's plenty of fucking cops there, and then to confront them motherfuckers if they start to get violent, start setting things on fire and shit. So that doesn't sound bad. That's a non-violent approach. I don't want these fucking white supremacist Nazis to take over our towns, to become our judges, to become our teachers. I want to know who the fuck they are, and they should be ashamed of their goddamn selves. So let's take lots of pictures. Let's post their names. Let's try to get them fired at their jobs. So that's my Antifa. That's the way I look at Antifa. If I was to organize my own sort of, I'm just, I like the idea of being anti-fascist, right? Just be anti-fascist. That's, I like that. I like that idea. So a fascist would hate the fucking referees.
Aim, right? They're ruining the game. Hey, look, that's what they want to do. They want to hit, okay? They want to hit, but it is hurting the game. But you know what's hurting the game more than that? When people like yourselves turn on television and you see those people taking the knee when they're playing our great national anthem. The only thing you could do better is if you see it, even if it's one player, leave the stadium, I guarantee.
So he's calling for a boycott anytime anybody takes a respectful knee to the flag. Oh, how disrespectful, right, Donald? He took a knee. Who the fuck takes a knee for anything? You take a knee for a prayer, right? If they have a touchdown, that's totally fine. Take a knee for a touchdown. Take a knee for discriminating against gay people. Take a knee for, jingoistic fucking war violence, bombing fucking countries. Take a knee, respect all that fucking bullshit. But you can't take a knee for the flag? You can't take a knee for the flag. Donald's the one that's being disrespectful of the goddamn flag. Why can't I salute the flag? Why can't I take a knee to the flag? Why can't I, can I put 20 flags up if I want to? Can I have, my cars and my clothing and everything decorated in the American flag? Can I love the American flag the fucking way I want to? And then the pledge, or the great national anthem. Yeah, that was the War of 1812. The only thing that came out of that war was the Star-Spangled Banner. But it was the British, when they burned down our White House, the British, when they sacked Baltimore, then we killed Tecumseh. So that's what the War of 1812 was, just a bunch of we tried to invade Canada. So when we tried to invade Canada thinking they were going to be our liberators, the British came in, defended them, squashed us, fucking burned down our damn capital, sacked Baltimore, and then they almost won. They eventually lost, and then the end was status quo antebellum. Everything went exactly back to the same. Every bit of it went back to the same the way it was. Henry Clay was a war hawk. They were against the Native Americans. They wanted to make room for the Native Americans in Ohio and Iowa, and then they wanted to take over Canada. It was definitely an American imperialistic war. There was some shit that was going on in the high seas, but we could have folded out in the high seas. Instead, we declared war on Britain because when we wanted to take over Canada, and it also gave us an excuse to wipe out Tecumseh and all the Native Americans to the west of the white colonists. That's the War of 1812. That's where the Star-Spangled Banner came from. And then Francis Scott Key was a slave owner. So this piece of shit's a slave owner. There's one passage where he's like, fuck the black British. The black British who, ceded or went to that side because they could have got some freedom. So here there's this slave-owning piece of shit, Francis Scott Key. He owns the fucking slaves. He hates the black British, the ones who ran away from America and got freedom and fought for the British. So he had a particular hatred. The third stanza of the Star-Spangled Banner is about, fuck the slaves, fuck the hireling, and fuck the slaves. Fuck the slaves. Fuck the slaves in the British ranks. Those damn slaves, they should have been happy with our fucking chains, but instead they wanted the British chains. So he was a racist through and through. He wasn't fighting in the battle. He was actually a diplomat there to save some fucking doctor. So while they bombed Baltimore, he was sitting on the fucking ship watching it, right? So by the next morning, he was happy that the flag, which wasn't the same flag as last night, it was a different fucking flag. So the story, bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that the flag was still there, but it was a different flag. So let's, it's oh, the stars, I like the ending of it. That's pretty cool. I want to make sure I get all this.
Things will stop. Things will stop. Just pick up and leave. Pick up and leave.
That's what we should do.
Not the same game
at
anymore.
His fucking rallies. Pick up and leave. Just pick up and leave.
Now, one of the things we've done, and when I say we, it's us.
He's saying
together.
boycott freedom.
We protect religious liberty.
Not free speech.
Because we know that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the true centers of American life.
Interesting.
In America, we don't worship government, we worship God.
So he got an applause line for that, but that's a quote from the head of government. So the head of government said, "Don't worship God. Don't worship government. Worship God, and I'm your God, so worship me." So these fucking leaders have been saying they have divine fucking whatever justification to being the fucking dicks that they are. So this piece of shit, the head of government is gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, we're against the government." Yeah, except for the police and the jails and the war machine and the police killing blacks and all the corruption. You're all about the corruption. You just hate the government that helps people. The EPA, the healthcare, the education, the food stamps. If there's government that helps people, that's the government that you really hate. But the government that smashes people, that hurts people, that's violent against people, fucking Trump loves that kind of government. So, this piece of shit, he wants to boycott freedom against referees in the middle of that fucking speech. And Bill Maher, he made one point, and he's dead on this point. He says that Donald Trump law didn't have any more suckers in New York City, so that's why he went to the Midwest and he found more suckers all across the United States. So that's what everybody, is Carnival Barker. People are buying into his fucking bullshit, and he's definitely fucking stoking the racist thing. So he's creating this beast. He's gonna be like a Glenn Beck. They don't understand when you wake the beast up, then they have no control over the beast. So he's sitting there saying boycott freedom. Even the non-violent protesters who respect the flag by taking a knee to the flag, those are the enemies of America. He goes to racist Alabama in order to make this speech against Kaepernick. And then I'm supposed to believe that Antifa is the exact same, fucking equal to that James Alex Fields. Well, guess what? That James Alex Fields, he came from one county away from me in Kentucky. So I know the culture that James Alex Fields came out of, and his mother is not innocent in any of this shit. Fuck the Nazis. Fuck the Nazis and fuck Donald Trump.